Hello and welcome to On the Road, your trusted space for transport and logistics news shaping our continent. I am Florence Musundwa, the convener of the Road Freight SME Summit, and today we are unpacking a crisis that's been quietly grinding Africa's transport sector to a halt: the shortage of skilled drivers. From long-haul truck drivers in South Africa to cross-border freight operators in East and West Africa, the continent is facing a growing challenge and the economic consequences are already showing. Stay with me as we explore the causes, the impact, and what could possibly be done. Let's start with the facts. Across the African continent, there's a rising demand for qualified professional drivers, especially in road freight, logistics, and long-distance transport. But the supply of skilled drivers simply is not keeping up. In South Africa alone, the Road Freight Association estimates a shortage of over 3,000 heavy-duty truck drivers. Across sub-Saharan Africa, the situation is even more critical, with countries like Zambia, Nigeria, and Kenya also reporting deficits in their road freight workforce. So what's driving the shortage? Let's take a closer look. Several key factors behind the shortage, and they go beyond just job numbers. Number one, training and certification challenges. Driver training in many African countries is expensive, inconsistent, and often poorly regulated. For young people entering the workforce, getting a commercial driving license can be both time-consuming, costly, especially in rural areas. Point number two, driver migration. Qualified African drivers are in high demand overseas. Countries like the UK, Canada, and the UAE have actively recruited from Africa markets. Why? Because African drivers are known for their adaptability and road endurance. But when they leave, local supply chains suffer. Point number three, an aging workforce. In South Africa, the average age of professional drivers is now 47 years. That's dangerously high in a physically demanding profession. And there's a lack of younger drivers stepping in to replace them. Point number four, the low job appeal. It's just not sexy. Let's face it, long hours, dangerous routes, poor rest facilities, and low pay in some cases, these factors make driving a tough sell to the next generation. Without reform, interest in the profession will only decline further. The economic consequences of this driver shortage are already visible, and they are worldwide reaching. The first one, supply chain disruptions. When there aren't enough drivers to move goods, trucks sit idle, deliveries get delayed, and shelves stay empty. Businesses from agriculture to retail are experiencing costly delays and stock outs. For South Africa, which is a key logistics hub for the region, this is especially damaging. Missed exports mean low or lost revenue, and inefficiencies mean local prices climb. Point number two, inflation and rising costs. Transport companies are now competing fearlessly for a small pool of qualified drivers. That drives up wages, and eventually those increased costs get passed down to consumers. In 2024, road freight costs in South Africa rose by more than 11%. Food and fuel among the hardest hits. Number three, it's youth unemployment paradox. Africa has the youngest population in the world, but millions of young people remain unemployed. At the same time, thousands of driver positions sit vacant. Why? Because the system is not equipping young people or exposing young people with the right skills or incentive to take up these jobs. Like I said, it's not sexy enough. Point number four, food security concerns. In East Africa, for example, A lack of drivers during harvest seasons means perishable goods don't make it to the market on time. That translates to post-harvest losses of up to 50% in some regions. It's not just an economic issue, it's a food security one too. So what's the path forward? Invest in modern training infrastructure. Governments and the private sector need to collaborate to build standardized, accredited training centers. Though there are plenty of training academies, though much more still needs to be done. This should be accessible to rural populations and aligned with international safety logistics standards. Subsidized certification, reducing the cost and the complexities of getting a professional license, especially for heavy-duty vehicles, could bring more young people into the profession. Use technology for matching and efficiency, very important. Startups in places like Nigeria and Kenya are building mobile platforms that connect freelance drivers with logistics operators, improving job access and reducing idle time. These solutions need more support and they need scale. Improve working conditions. Better pay is important, but so are rest stops, infrastructure, road safety, healthcare benefits, scheduling practices. These improvements make driving a more attractive long-term career. In South Africa, the government has recognized the problem. The National Logistics Master Plan, rolled out in late 2024, aims to address the bottlenecks in infrastructure and human resources, including reforms to the professional driving permit system. In addition, several logistics firms are now investing in their own training academies, offering paid apprenticeships for young drivers. But critics argue that progress is too slow, especially as the country gears up to meet the demands of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which will depend heavily on road freight and cross-border logistics. The shortage of skilled drivers in Africa isn't just a transport issue. It's a threat to economic stability, youth employment, and continental trade ambitions. Solving it will require collaboration, investment, and urgency, from training centers and policy reforms to better working conditions and tech-driven solutions. The tools exist. We need now the will and the leadership to act. That's all for today's episode on the Road podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us, and wherever you can comment, please do comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, travel safe and keep driving progress.